Okay, let's look at this first example. How do we know how to set this problem up? Can anyone tell me?
Which one?
Yeah. What comes first, A or B?
A.
A. Now, let me give you the real scenario around this. If we're dealing with a problem like this, it's larger, smaller. Usually the one smaller comes first. But we're looking for A and B. Okay? So that means A is going to go on the top and B is going to go on the bottom.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and write that. We're 5 and 7. What's larger, 5 or 7?
7.
Yeah. So we're going to write 5 and we're going to write 7. Okay? Go ahead and do this on your notes. Write this out. Okay, now, we're X and 4 on our next one, right? We always put the X
4.
second because we don't know which one's larger. Okay? So we put 4 and we put X. Any questions? So A goes first on the top. B goes second on the bottom. X goes last. Okay? Now, how do I solve this problem here?
Cross multiply.
Cross multiply. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to cross multiply this. Okay, so we're going to write this. Do I write it as 5x? Yeah. We put the number in front. Let me tell you why. This essentially is the same thing, but that can be confusing when we go to solve. Okay? If we see the 5 in front of it, it's easy to divide it and everything. Okay, now we're equals and 4 and 7. Okay, what's 7? What's 4 times 7?
28.
Good. 5x. How do I solve that?
You multiply both, right?
This is multiplying, so
By both.
the opposite is dividing.
Yep.
Yep. So divide by 5, divide by 5. Now I have a question. Are we graphing?
No.
So are decimals okay?
Yes.
Decimals are okay. So go ahead and tell me what this is. What's 28 divided by 5? You have calculators beside your desks?
140.
Definitely not that.
Oh, it divided by 3.
Yes, thank you.
My bad.
Good. 5.6. So we know what the side is, right? So we just solved this. This is 5.6. Now, can we figure out perimeter or area on this? It's a trick question.
Yeah.
We can't. Let me tell you why. And you're due now. Remember what I told you? You're going to need to tell me what perimeter is. You're going to need to tell me what area is and how to solve it, okay? Perimeter refers to a square or a rectangle. We can't do a triangle. Let me show you why. It's kind of obvious. We're the length times 2 and the width times 2. How many sides does that have?
3.
Right. So we don't have 4, do we?
No.
So we can't do it. We can't do area and we can't do perimeter, technically. Okay?
Wait, we're talking about 8?
Yeah, talking for A. We're done. We're finished. We solved for the unknown. Yep. Okay, so let me be crystal clear on this because I already said it a couple times. I'm going to say it one more time. You want to make sure you have this written out, right? You're turning this in. This is getting ready for the test. Good. Okay, this one's exactly the same thing. So you guys tell me what goes on top.
8.
Good. And what's next?
X.
Good. Okay, what goes on the bottom?
4 and 5.
Very good, 4 and 5. Remember, smaller to larger. Okay? If you remember that, you're never going to have to ask me the question, I don't know which one goes where. Right, Wilson? Are you plugged in, sir? Can you plug in? You ready for this test? Okay. So we're going to cross multiply, right? So we're 8 times 5. Verbally. And we're 4 and x. Right? So we're going to multiply this. This is 40. This is 4x. And we're going to divide by 4. Very good. We know what x is. So we solve for x, right? Now, can we figure out perimeter in this? An area?
No.
We
Oh,
can.
yeah, you can.
We can. There's 4 sides. So let's work on this one, okay? By the way, does it matter what we put for length or width? It doesn't because it's times 2. So whatever order is, we're still going to be order of operations. It's not going to matter.
Who's the other one? I got
Hector's struggling, but I think he's plugged back in right now.
Gotcha. Cool.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and plug this into our formula, right? So we're going to be 2 times 8 plus 2, we solved 10, right? There's our perimeter. 2 set in the formula, 8, 2 set in the formula, we solve for x, it's 10. So now we can figure out what the perimeter is, right? So 2 times 8 is what?
16.
And 2 times 10?
20.
Add them together. That's what our perimeter is. Okay? Any questions on this one? Okay, we can figure out this one too, right? Doesn't matter which way they go because it's multiplying. So we're going to take the 8 and the 10 and multiply them. So 8 times 10, 80. So our area is 80 and our perimeter is 36. Okay? This exact question is going to be on the test. You're going to need to be able to tell me what perimeter is and what area is, not just in this format. You're going to have to tell me what you do with it, how you solve it. Okay? Because you're going to be using it. Okay, just remember one thing. Perimeter and area doesn't refer to triangles. Okay? It's squares and rectangles. So I'm going to go here first, and then we're going to go over to cylinders. Okay? Is there anything to figure out in this problem? Is there anything unknown?
Oh, no.
No, there's no x's, right? 4 and 2? 6 and 3, right? So we don't need to cross multiply. We don't have to do any of that because it's all there. Okay? But we can figure out perimeter and area, can't we?
Yeah.
Okay? So we're going to do 2 times 4 plus 2 and 2, right? 4 and 2. 4 and 2. Enter it inside here, do substitution, and then solve for it. So 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 times 2 is 4. So the perimeter in this case is 12. Okay? Area is super easy, right?
Yeah.
It's just 4 times 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. So our area is 8 and our perimeter is 12. Any questions? Pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
Can someone tell me what's different with C from what we covered yesterday? Is there anything that stands out that's just a little bit different?
The whole thing.
Very good. They're very good. So radius is usually half of it, right? But notice we don't have a measurement for the height of one of those cylinders, right? So we have to solve first, but when we go to do the radius, we're going to have to divide that in half, right? Because if it's 10 across, the radius is only half of it. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so very first thing before we can do this, we have to solve for x, don't we? So we're going to take A and we're going to set it up, right? What numbers go first?
10 and 14.
Very good. And then what?
2 and x.
Good. So we're going to solve, right? This becomes 10x, and then equals 2 times 14, which is 28, equals 10x, and then we're going to divide by 10, right? Now remember, I'll take decimals now when we're not graphing, okay? If you give me the answer in a fraction, I'm okay with that. It's still the correct answer. So I divide by 10, x equals 2.8, right?
Yeah.
So this right here is 2.8. So we can solve for volume now, can't we? So here's the trick in this one. The radius, it's saying all the way across is 10, but radius is actually from the center to the side. So we have to take that 10 divided by 2. Okay? So we're going to leave pi alone. Why are we going to leave pi alone? What is pi like that I told you yesterday?
It goes on.
It's ends.
We treat it like a variable, right?
Yeah.
Because we can't solve it. It's a number that's constantly changing.
Irrational.
So we don't do anything with it. Okay? We know this is 5, and then we have our height, right? So we're going to put this in parentheses, 14. That's going to equal our volume. Any questions? We take the measurement all the way across the cylinder divided by 2, right? because the radius just refers to the middle to the side. So that's going to be 5. So we're replacing the r with 5. Then our height is 14 feet. So we're taking the h and we're replacing with 14. Are we clear? Okay, we have to solve for the exponent first. Okay, so that's 5 times 5, which is 25. So this is 25, and then 14. Can someone put that in your calculator, please? 25 times 14.
350.
When you pass the class.
Never.
That's up to you. Okay, we just carry the pi down. We don't do anything with it. We can't solve for it, but we solve this information here. So the volume of this is 350 pi. Okay, what about F and G? Aren't those ones reviewed?
Yes.
I feel like I forgot. Oh, look, I kind of hit this one in here. Let's do this one first. We know what to do here, right? Cross multiply and divide. Very good. So we're 3x equals 6 times 16.
Wait, where does the x look?
What's that?
Where do we have an x?
Because x is right here. X and 3, x and 3. So we're 3x, and then 6 and 16.
Oh, that's e.
Yeah, I kind of hit it because I did perimeter and area right there
Yeah,
of it.
I didn't see that.
Okay, so what's 16 times 6? I don't know, you got calculators out of your desks. Okay, good.
1,000 divided by 3.
What is wrong with you today? 16 times 6.
I done too much today.
So we're going to divide by 3, x equals 32. Because we're just going to divide it out and get the x by itself. So here's our final answer.
32.
32. Okay. What do I do with this x plus 1? What do I do with the x plus 1? Very good. Parentheses. And do I list the number before or after the parentheses?
After.
Before. You
Oh,
can,
yeah.
but then you're doing distributive property backwards.
Yeah.
Distributive property does happen backwards, but it doesn't happen until you get here. Exponents go backwards in distributive property. We never show the exponent here because the property means what it's going to. Not that we're not even there yet, but yeah, the only time you go backwards in distributive property is exponents. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and write this problem out. We're going to be 10 x plus 1 equals 3 times 15. So 3 times 15 is 45. Then we're going to do distributive property. 10 times x, 10 times 1. So 10x plus 10. Right? So we're going to subtract 10 from both sides. So it's going to be 10x equals 30. Whoops. Forgot the x. Then we're going to divide by 10. We're going to divide by 10. X equals 3.5. We're done. Okay, last one, same thing. We're going to cross multiply and divide. So we're going to have 5f equals 12 and negative 4. I just want to throw in a negative 1 so you guys saw it. So we're negative 48 equals 5f. And then we're going to divide by 5 and divide by 5. Is my answer positive or negative?
Positive?
It's negative. Because
Oh,
it's
yeah, it's
negative
one.
divided by a positive.
It's only 1.
Okay, so what's my answer there?
-6? Or
48 divided by 5. I took it improper, turned it back proper. But you can use a decimal in that case, it's fine because you're not graphing. Okay, let's talk about the do now. This is going to help you for the test tomorrow. You want to write out the formula for perimeter area and you want to explain it. Okay? So how would I do that? It's length times 2 plus width times 2, add them together. Area is length and width times each other, gives you the total area. Okay? Here you got to solve for x, right? Once you solve for x, you can solve for perimeter, you can solve for area. Remember, a triangle, you can't solve for that because it's not square, okay? But you have an a and a b, you can solve for what's x here. This one's just like we went through, right? And this one's just like we went through, okay? So you want to have all the notes written out. You want to get the do now done, turn it in. If you understand all of it, you're good to go for the test. Is there any of this I should go through again? Be careful with this, okay? Remember when you go to radius, that it has to be half of that radius, okay? That's the only, because you throw that 10 in there, you're not going to get the right volume, okay? So make sure you divide it by 2 if it's all the way across. Okay? Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm going to go buy stamp planners.